the sins of Pergamos, as was given to us in the letter that was written to the church of Pergamos in the book of Revelation. Eating things offered to idols and fornication. And in the letter it says that this was the spirit of Balaam, the spirit of the doctrine of Balaam. And we talked about Balaam. He was a prophet from the Old Testament, but he was a very interesting prophet because he was not living among the Israelites. And indeed, the king of the Moabites, Balak, had sent people to convince Balaam to go out on the cliff of the mountain and look out across the plain to see this multitude of Israelites that were coming their way and to curse them. But it didn't work because God had already spoke to Balaam. He said, do not go with them. And 3 times Balak sent these people. And every time the level of degree as far as the importance of the people who would go to Balaam increased. And every time the bounty increased. More money was offered. And then the 3rd time they came, the Lord woke Balaam up in the middle of the night and said, when they ask, you go with them. Now, this is interesting, what happened here, because he heard from God to go with them. But in the morning when he woke up and he sat on his donkey to go with them, it turns out that God was angry about this. And here is Balaam, he's riding his donkey, fixing to head on out. And there in front of him was the angel of the Lord with his sword drawn. But Balaam, he was so focused on his mission, he didn't see the death angel. But the donkey did. And the donkey was afraid. And he wouldn't go forward. And they were wedged up against a wall. And Balaam began to beat the donkey, trying to get him to go forward. The donkey refused, and he crushed his foot up against that wall. Well, this made Balaam even angrier. And he persisted, and the donkey went a little further, and then he saw a good view of that death angel, and he reared up, and he refused to go, and he fell over. And Balaam gets up and begins to beat the donkey. And then the donkey says, why are you beating me? And then Balaam, he started talking to the donkey. Well, the whole point of this is simply this, is that God told Balaam to go, but the intent was to go curse Israel. I think Balaam had something else on his mind. And I believe that that's an important part of this story. It's because God knew the heart of Balaam. He knew what was on his heart. He knew what was on his mind. And he was angry because the spirit of compromise was there. In other words, it's to say, Lord, I want to do your will, but, and it's always that but, that thing that we hold back for our own reasons, whatever they may be, that usually gets us in trouble. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.